At first, I was like, man, what the Logan Paul wrestling? But then the match he had Roman Reigns, I was like, oh, he's doing flips. He put Roman Reigns on the table, gets on the top rope with a phone in his hand, says, you're gonna go viral today, Roman. Proceeds to jump off, and he hits him with a frog splash from the top rope. I've never seen nothing like that before, man.
Ruse Radio. I don't know how you feel about the whole Logan Paul being a wrestler situation. That's a whole funny thing. I mean, okay, we can go in on that. I can't help myself.
Okay. With this, at first, I was like, man, what the fuck, Logan Paul wrestling? But then it wasn't the first match he did with when he was tag team against Rey Mysterio and his son. It was the match that he had with Roman Reigns. I was like, oh, Logan Paul serious about being a wrestler. I mean, I'm talking about he doing flips. He put this man, Roman Reigns, big muscular dude on the table, gets on the top rope with a phone in his hand, says, you're going to go viral today, Roman. Proceeds to jump off with the phone still in his hand. And you can see Roman Reigns laying down on the table on the phone like, oh. And he hits him with a frog splash from the top rope. I've never seen nothing like that before, man.
And for those that don't know, this clip is available online. You can literally see Logan Paul's perspective on the cell phone. And what's so amazing about it is he filmed it perfectly. Because, I mean, like, I don't know about you guys. I'm okay at holding a cell phone and filming myself and doing things while I'm doing that. I mean, I do it while I record music video things a lot of the time. So I consider myself skilled.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could pull that off.
Literally, he's holding it while he's in midair. You can see him, and then you hear all the grunts like, oh, like, and the impact, you're right. The impact of the table and all that stuff is crazy,
and
man.
like you said, too, there's like as he's jumping, because he has like a good shot at him. He's like, you know, he says the thing and then he's about to jump. And then it's like he perfectly pans over to where you can see Roman Reigns on the table right before he lands on him.
You can see him like brace for impact. It's like, he was high up in the air. Like, he was high up in the air.
And that's just talking about his camera angle.
Yeah.
Like if you watch it in the actual what was televised, it's
you
still super impressive.
It's still impressive, but you don't see it from it's totally different from his perspective, man. It was like wow.
Yeah, and it shows that he has like a respect for the craft.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that I think is bringing, like you said, like as you built it up, that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it brought you around on him. The fact that he's doing stuff like that, and he really is an athlete, and he's not just treating it like what people were worried about. Like, oh, you're a YouTuber coming in. It's like when a celebrity comes in and wrestles. I bet people felt the same way when Ronda Rousey came around.
Yeah, these celebrity wrestlers of this time is a whole different breed. I don't know if you know who Bad Bunny is. He had a wrestling match in WWE. It was in Puerto Rico, actually. And he was in a hardcore match. A Grammy Award winning singer from Puerto Rico is in a hardcore match with a wrestler. And I'm talking about, y'all can look it up, man. The crowd was amazing. They were interested in this match. It was fun. And for him to be, I'm talking about, he was taking chair shots. He was on top of some speaker and he got choke slammed into some tables. This is the singer now. And then he got hit with kendo sticks. I'm like, man, this dude is really the truth. I'm like, man, him and Logan Paul should be in the match. It may happen at SummerSlam. I don't know. Probably.
Was it Post Malone that got thrown through a table or something like that?
That was MGK.
MGK. That's who it was. Because I remember he took a hell of a bump on Raw. It was like, whoa. He really did that.
Yeah. Well, I think that was like, he did nothing else after that.
That was it.
Yeah, that was one and
that wasn't
done.
A whole ass hardcore match. Kendo sticks. Jesus.
Man, I said, man, wow. That's a nice, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where celebrities have always been incorporated in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just there's a negative stigma around it because I feel like people are always worried about the way that booking goes. I think it's a booking issue mostly because everybody's worried like, oh, they know these people are going to get a lot of attention. It's going to take away from the people who are actually passionate about it. And that's what it always becomes. So it's like these celebrities have to prove themselves. It's cool that Logan Paul's coming around and really proving himself to a lot of people.
He's proving himself, man. Like,
but Jake Paul did the same exact thing with his fighting career so far. Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting to see Logan Paul do it with WWE in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Or with professional wrestling in a whole different way.
Yep.
Yeah. Like with sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment,
yeah.
Right, sports entertainment, not wrestling.
But, yeah, I mean, it's just really interesting. I think that it's cool, too, because it is a whole different art form. It's just like it's like what we were talking about way at the beginning of this podcast with like going from rap music to metal music.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to post that, I should be doing it in a separate way, in a separate thing, in a whole, I should be treating it differently. Right. And I think that's what he's doing. He's got his YouTube persona and then he's got his wrestling persona. They're not even the same at all.
Yeah, they're not the same. That's exactly two different things.
Should be.
Yeah.
And it's the reason I even bring all of it up, because we got onto that topic because I saw you wanted to talk about it. But the reason I brought it up before I was getting off of wrestling was that he's the guy he's one of the guys that's really making it a thing for all these wrestlers to come on podcasts, because he's a wrestler. He already had a podcast. And so now you're seeing a lot of these like iconic, like legendary, I'm trying to think of the right word, legacy. That might be a word I'm looking for. Like legacy names coming on. Like Edge was just on his podcast.
Yeah, he was.
Fucking Edge. I could never even imagine Edge on a podcast. The only time that was really happening was back when there were good wrestling podcasts out, which is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They're not around anymore.
Right.
So it's very interesting to see a lot of these guys come out of the woodworks. And
I know,
especially with that type of platform, because I don't even think what they were doing 10 years ago with Stone Cold and what was the other one we mentioned earlier?
Colt Cabana? Was that the
Colt Cabana, yes.
Yeah.
They were good and they had some buzz, but they definitely don't have the following that somebody like Logan Paul does. So you're getting like a whole new audience of kids.
Whole new audience.
And they're just learning about the history seamlessly. I wish I had that when I was coming up. Dude, it's awesome. It's actually like a very cool development that you can only have in this day and age, because kayfabe has molded and shaped itself over the years, and now what we're able to say is very different than what it was 10 years, and that was different than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like if you had wrestlers on podcasts 10 years ago, they would not be saying what they're saying now. They weren't.
Oh, they weren't.
20 years ago, they'd still stay in character probably the whole time.
Yeah, they would.
They wouldn't even break it.
They probably wouldn't even be talking about what they do in their own personal life. They'd be, like you said, stay in character the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? Like now it's just like they're being themselves.
You're seeing a whole different side to the industry, I think. Yeah, and they're being themselves.
Yeah.
And because of that, it kind of like personalizes it in the way that I think it should. Like, I think it's just like any other interview. Like, you want to get to know these people.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna take